Shelley here, and welcome to the first behind the scenes of 2019. Hopefully I can do a little bit better with this than I did last year. I managed a whole one last year, so we'll shoot for a few more than that this year. I'm shooting for about one a month, more or less. We'll see what happens. And length, I'm shooting for 20 minutes or less. Every time I say, I started out with 10 minutes and it went to 12, 14 minutes, and then I said 15 minutes and it went to 18 minutes or longer. So I'm going to say 20 minutes or less of me sitting here chattering and, my scaring the rats out of your basement or whatever. Anyway, it's time for Coffee with Rod. In my official Girls from TNA coffee mug. And you, yes, you, faithful watchers, can get your own. I will tell you how in a little bit. Oh, nectar of the gods, that. So, what's been going on? Like I said, last year I only managed to get one of these behind the scenes done. So, we'll go for a few more this year. First thing is the camera is probably about 6-7 feet away from me, and hopefully you can hear me just fine because I ordered a couple of these little microphones that they have a nice long extension cord. They sound really good. They're Zafira, something like that. Anyway, my friend Jay Versluis recommended these. He's got a YouTube channel called WP Guru, and I give Jay a good shout out because he gave me a really good shout out on one of his videos. But he does a lot of Daz Studio stuff and also some technical stuff. Does a real good job explaining it and has a real kind of sit down with your friend and look over his shoulder while he does cool stuff kind of format. So give him a look, give him some love, check him out. Anyway, a few new things. I finally did get a new computer. I'll be showing you that here in just a minute. That I basically dedicated to Daz Studio. Right now I'm running the beta 4.11, and so far, knock on treated whatever this plywood coated stuff is, I've had no problems. This computer, and I blew my equipment budget probably for the next 3 years on this one computer. It's got a RTX 2080 Ti, which is probably at present one of the most powerful video cards out there, and it does a smoking job with Daz Studio, with iRay. I've had renders that have taken me previously 2 or 3 days complete in a couple hours on this thing, so I'm pretty excited about that. And while we're talking about Daz Studio, a question came up on one of my posts on Renderosity some time ago about have you abandoned Poser? Absolutely not. Poser is still it's on this machine. It's actually on the laptop there and on this other machine. Absolutely, I'm not walking away from Poser. It's still my main go-to for the TNA story. Daz Studio is it's another tool in the toolbox, folks, just like View or Photoshop or anything else I managed to get my grubby little hands on. Another tool in the toolbox. So anyway, there's that. Sat in on a great webinar yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Today's Monday, that was Sunday. With Art Doherty. A. Doherty, as you probably know him on Renderosity. Great webinar on digital dragons, on how he creates his dragons using the Daz one of the DAS dragons, and kind of mishmashing different dragons together to make his own special dragon, and it was pretty cool. And he gave me a great shout out at the end of the webinar too, talking about the TNA story, and that was nice. That was cool. So a shout out to Art Doherty. Art, thank you, buddy. Okay, what else is going on? I think it's about time for a quick tour. I gave you a tour of the renovated room here after the flood of 2017, right after the eclipse. But I'll do another quick tour and do a couple other things, and that'll pretty much wrap this one up. Okay, we're portable now. I'm using the iPad. This is my 6D, what I normally use for these, and see the microphone cable plugged in there. Like I said, it's got a nice long microphone cable. Anyway, this is the new computer that I got for DAS Studio, and again, a double monitor. Whoops! I don't want to freak out YouTube with our girl G4 out there waiting in the water, but because you know, if you show bare boobs, it's like, oh God, he showed bare boobs. All right. Anyway, that's the new computer. It's cool. It's got all these neat little changing color LED fans and stuff. And oh, that's the RTX card in there. So this is the other one. I'm presently putting the video together that you're watching right now. Talk about time shifting. And of course the main computer where I do all my emailing and one thing and another. The Poser computer, the Titan, it's got a GTX 1080 in it, so it does pretty well. And the old Velocity laptop is kind of doing a security duty with frame captures from my little camera out front. As you can see, it's a lovely evening. It's rain and snow and all that other nastiness. Got my other computer over here, my ancient old computer with a little Epson scanner. And that's my Origin computer. And I used to have, that's the computer I started out using DAS Studio on, and I have since taken DAS Studio off of this one and will very shortly be putting Poser Pro 11 on. I had 11 earlier on another computer, my old Poser computer, which actually I rebuilt it and gave it to a friend of mine that was having some tough times, and that's all I'm going to say about that. He knows who he is, and he's probably watching this. Anyway, that's just a quick tour, and we'll go back to the other camera now. Okay, so that's my little mini tour. We'll be doing a lot more other things as time goes by. I won't sing. Talk about scaring the rats out of your basement. This spring is probably going to be quite a bit of renovation. I've got a lot of stuff I still want to do on this house, so you'll be treated to watching me out there doing my best to emulate Bob Vila, and failing miserably probably, but still got a lot to do, and like I said, you'll get to see some of it. What else? TNA. Oh, yes. Moving along, we're just about ready to get into Chapter 7. I'm extending a couple more pages on Chapter 6. And the next one I post, you've already seen the one where the girls Melanie, Betty, and Renfa have discovered that the boat they're getting is more like an aircraft carrier. But at least the next page or two, they're going to kind of be exploring the boat and figuring out different things. I'm kind of rematerializing. Why do I do that? I noticed in my last video I was doing this a lot. It's like it must be a nervous habit. Anyway, the bridge of the yacht. I'm doing some work on that, adding a few things to it. It looks pretty good as it is. It's True Form's yacht, which is amazing. And it looks pretty good as it is, but of course it's TNA, so it's got to have all the best high-tech goodies in it in the world. So I'm adding a few things to it. I will have a short video, about 12 minutes, that shows how I put in some of the props and some of the things I'm doing on the bridge of the yacht. So I had to shoot it off the screen with the Canon. I don't have any software for screen capture, any of that fancy stuff. I am looking at Pinnacle, but that'll be a little bit later. But if you're interested, I'll put that up, and you can check that out. Oh, before I get away, I have a store on Redbubble. I also have one on Pixels, but I'm concentrating on Redbubble right now. There's already a collection of TNA stuff up there, t-shirts and throw pillows and all kinds of good stuff. I will be putting more collections up there. You can get yourself one of these on Redbubble. I'll put a link in the description. So if you want your own TNA cup, there's where you can get it. And there will be more. And a couple words about Patreon. I know I put up a post here not too long ago where I was a little bit frustrated. But the thing is, one, it doesn't cost me a cent to keep it up there, so I'll just keep it there. And basically, for those of you that don't quite understand, and I will be making a short intro video to put on Patreon, it's basically, you're not buying my art, it's just one of those things where it's like, dude, I like what you do, how can I help, how can I support you? That's how. You just pledge $5 a month, $2, whatever you feel like that you can do. I don't want anybody sending money that can't afford to do it. So, if you're moved to do it, great. If you're not, just sit back and enjoy the art anyway. There are little extras that I put up there as a kind of a reward for the people that do support me on Patreon. But I'm not gonna go on about Patreon forever. I might put one or two plugs in it in each video, and I'll have a link, but that's it. If you feel like doing it, do it. If you don't, just enjoy the art. And your support and your comments and stuff on Renderosity and Fantasy Attic and some of the other places means the world. So rock on. So that about wraps it up for this one. Hopefully it was not too boring or long. So thanks for stopping by. Big shout out to Mike, FayMike55, and to Erica, who are my present Patreon supporters, and a big shout out to Steve, Eekdog, and Dan Dimamker in Puerto Rico for collaborating on the story. Fay Mike also. He's the one that came up with the idea for Kenny. And it's almost like a community story, and it's so much fun. So anyway, big shout out to Mike, Steve, Dan. Big shout out to Jay. Shout out to Art. You guys rock. All the rest of you, you rock too. So we'll be talking to you later, and thanks for watching.